Most people ruin venison before it ever hits a smoker. They treat it like beef, and that's the mistake. No fat, no forgiveness. One wrong move, and it's dry. This venison came out tender, juicy, and zero gamey.
Today we're making smoked venison. Stay with me so you get it right and no gaming at all. So let's get to work.
Before this venison ever sees smoke, it goes through two critical soaks. First, a cold saltwater soak overnight to draw out blood and that initial wild edge. Then it goes straight into a milk or buttermilk bath for 12 to 24 hours. That step is key. It neutralizes any remaining gamey flavor without masking the meat. After this, you're working with clean, mild venison that actually tastes incredible when smoked.
So our venison has been sitting in the fridge for almost 12 hours on the buttermilk bath. So now it's time for me to, rinse it out, and then we're gonna put it to dry for 6 to 12 hours, depending on your time. Open. I'm gonna put it on this cooling rack. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. I'm gonna leave it there for 6 to 12 hours, and then I'm gonna apply a dry wrap.
After the soaks, I rinse the venison under cold water to wash off any residual salt and milk. This resets the surface so the meat stays clean, mild, and ready for the next step.
So it's time to start drying. It's pat dry all these pieces of meat. Put them on the rack. I did an initial trim, but then before I put the rub on it later today, I'm gonna trim it again to make sure we remove all the silver skin and all the fat, which is what gives you that gamey taste.
Next, I remove every bit of silver skin and excess fat. This stuff won't render, and it traps that wild flavor. Taking the extra time here is the difference between venison that tastes gamey and venison that eats clean and tender.
So after our venison has been in the fridge, open for 12 hours, I'm gonna apply a thin coat of beef tallow as a binder, right? An even coat of all pieces.
And now they're ready to take on the rub.
So for our base rub, I have a combination here of kosher salt, garlic powder, black pepper, I have dry rosemary, and I also have juniper berries that I smash them, I grind them, and then this is what I got from them. I'm gonna mix all this, and I'm gonna apply an even coat. So I'm mixing this perfectly here. Start with the chunky pieces. Well, this juniper berries smell pretty good. It's a characteristic smell. And then after I do that, I'm gonna do a touch of our Maritime Madness barbecue wrap on real pepper. It's the start of the night for our smoked venison.
Use the link below if you want to upgrade your pantry with Maritime Madness sauces and rubs.
This is ready to go in the fridge for the last 8 hours before you hit the smoker.
This will go uncovered into the fridge overnight to dry the surface, set the seasoning, and get the venison ready to smoke right.
And this venison is now ready to go into the smoker. And it's been drying overnight after I applied the rub, and it looks ready to start soaking into smoke. I'm gonna go out, set up my smoker. I'll be back to start working on the butter shield and the berry reduction sauce. And let's talk about fuel. Today I'm using, of course, Lumberjack Pellets, the best in the market. I'm using a mix of 60% hickory and 40% cherry. The hickory will give you that savory, classic barbecue backbone that will stand up to that game meat. And the cherry will give it a clean, mild smoke that adds flavor without turning it bitter or campfire heavy. If you really like the bold smoke, please find a Lumberjack dealer near you in the link below and get the real stuff. You're never gonna regret it.
Clean pellets in the hopper, light smoke only. You want that meat to shine, not to get buried in smoke. A smoker goes to 200 degrees with super smoke. Low and slow at the start builds clean smoke flavor without overpowering the venison. Venison hits the grate for the first time. From here on, it's all about patience, temperature control, and letting the smoke do its job.
Okay, while the venison smokes, we're gonna build that the batter shield, which we're gonna apply when the venison internal temperature is around 115, 120. So for that, I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter. I have 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, and I'm gonna add half teaspoon of our Worcestershire sauce. Simple as that.
And our chill is ready for the next step. This will cover a venison while being smoked. Berries into the pot. This is where the sauce starts, adding balance and a touch of natural sweetness.
And then we're gonna simmer for 4 to 5 minutes until berries soften and release the juice.
This is where all the flavors really wake up.
Well, it's time to add the heroes of the recipe. You have your bold and smoky and down is stinger from Maritime Madness. So we're gonna add around 2 tablespoons of bold and smoky and 1 tablespoon of our down is stinger. Now we're gonna stir that in. We're gonna add in 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We're gonna add a pinch of black pepper. We're gonna stir this. And we're gonna let it simmer for another 3 to 4 minutes. So let's do the final check here. It's looking great and smelling even better. It's great. Right in the last minute, I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh rosemary that I chopped really fine earlier. And we're gonna stir these in. Release all those aromas. It's time to put our butter chilled on this venison meat. Make sure we cover all surfaces here. I'm gonna let it soak in for 5 minutes.
After the first smoke phase, I brush on the butter shield. This locks in moisture, protects the surface, and keeps the venison from drying out while it finishes cooking in the smoker. We will pull the venison at 120 degrees, early by design. It stays juicy.
Okay, the venison is ready. I'm gonna cut it and see how it looks like. I'm gonna start slicing this bigger piece in here. And ooh, this looks great.
After a proper rest, I slice the venison thin across the grain. That's the key to tenderness. All that prep, all that patience, this is the payoff. Clean slices, juicy meat, no gamey flavor.
Looks good. Let me just give it a try. So what I'll do, I'm gonna cut this lemon in half here. And I'd like to put a little bit of lemon in it, on it. And for the chest, I'm gonna dip it on the sauce that we made on a berry glaze in here. Let's see how this tastes, guys. Wow. No gamey at all. Great taste.
Finish it with that berry sauce right over the top. It's rich, slightly sweet, and made to balance the venison. This is the final plate. Clean smoke, tender meat, and this right here is the hero that brings it all together.
Thanks for watching. And if you really want to see more great barbecue and smoking recipes like this one, please hit that subscribe and like button. And don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified every week when I release a new video. See you in the next one.